Last week, we looked at a range of options for presenting our data visually other than charts. This week, we're going to get stuck into charts themselves. Nikki, what are the objectives for this week?
Well, this week we're going to focus on creating the standard charts in Excel, but we're going to dig a little bit deeper to see how we can get the most out of these charts. And we're going to focus on some of the more advanced techniques like dual axes, trend lines, and combo charts.
While the videos will focus very much on how we go about creating these charts, we have to first make a decision on which chart type to actually use. There's a great quote from Cole Knaflic. Our tools do not know the story we aim to tell. How do we go about deciding on a chart type?
Ideally, we want our visualizations to convey the information at an unconscious level, allowing our audience to extract the information with minimal conscious effort. To achieve this, we need to consider how people actually process information. So, for example, take the cafe wall illusion. In this image, the lines are all horizontal and vertical, but part of our visual processing system tells us that the lines must be sloping, even though the cognitive part of our brain tells us that they're not. We don't have all the answers, but a well-known study by Cleveland and McGill suggests a ranking for how accurately people read different visual cues. This suggests that we more readily interpret length and position than, say, volume and intensity.
So that's almost suggesting we should only use bar and line charts.
And very often the old staples are the best, but this is just one set of factors to consider. Before we create our visualization, we need to establish its purpose. And we can do this by asking 3 simple questions. Why am I creating this chart? Who is it for? And what does it need to tell them? The answers to these questions should dictate the charting choices we make.
And to help our learners, we've included a great summary in this week's toolbox. Now, interesting with the Cleveland and McGill study, the rank of our perception of angles is higher than I would have expected. There's been quite a lot of anti-pie sentiment in latter years, like Stephen Few's article, Save the Pies for Dessert, which suggests that pie charts are not a particularly effective visualization. Should we be using pie charts?
As with anything, it comes down to using it well. Pies are often used badly, but their native simplicity is visually engaging. And provided the data sets are small, they can very effectively demonstrate a sense of proportion. We are going to look at pie charts and the newer, sexier donut chart, which kind of does the same thing, but it looks a bit more modern, and it does offer us some very interesting design opportunities.
So I suppose the type of data we are trying to represent will also have a large bearing on our choice of chart. So for example, if we wanted to show change over time, a good option would be to use a line chart.
Absolutely. And we're going to look at how to create some visually compelling line charts, as well as area charts and stacked area charts, which allow us to show cumulative change over time.
What about where we want to explore relationships in our data? Like I want to see not just sales figures over time, but also the number of hits on the website for the same time frames to see if there's a correlation.
Yeah, for that type of data, scatter plots and bubble charts are ideal, and that's what we'll be focusing on in the last video this week.
So another 5 fantastic videos this week, looking at charting techniques, pies and donuts, line charts, area charts, and our scatter and bubble charts. Don't forget to download the workbook so you can work along. The practice challenge is to cement those skills before tackling the assessment task, which will assess topics from week 1 and week 2.